up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and resident power washer extraordinaire, Adrian Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
Garrett, my man, how are you? I'm doing good.
Doing good. Yeah, we're back. We're here a little early this Monday. Most people used to us coming in about an hour later, but
you got to keep them on their toes. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, you got to break out of that cycle, make sure that everybody is paying attention. You know, can't let people just sit there.
Right. Yeah, if they start to figure us out, then, you know, that's a problem. We don't want them to.
That's how you fall off.
We don't want them to ever be able to expect. You know, we want to be unpredictable. Keep them surprised.
Exactly.
Oh man. But yeah, it's been. I tell you what. Have you ever done any sort of like plumbing work before?
I mean, if you count like snake in a drain, I've done that a few times.
Okay. Yeah, this last weekend I had an interesting experience where I grew up doing some plumbing work here and there. I used to do, you know, during the summer, work with my dad. He had a remodeling business. But this last weekend, I had volunteered to fix a sink in our house.
Oh, boy. This ought to be good.
They were like, we just need a faucet swapped out. I'm like, oh, that's easy. Just unscrew the little hoses. Turn the water off, unscrew the hoses.
Okay, I was going to say, you didn't say turn the water off. I'm like, that's step number one.
Pop the faucet off and then just do the same thing in reverse with a new one, right? Well, little did I know, and now I realize, like, oh no, this is a normal home improvement thing. It's not necessarily my problem. It's actually just like something that happens to anyone doing home improvement projects. It's never what you think it is.
Of course.
And so always. I get into the sink and immediately I'm like, oh, I can't turn off the water. The water shut off for the hot water is broken. You turn it all the way to the right, and it not only does it not shut off, but it started leaking on the floor. I'm like, well, what's the deal with this? So
it wouldn't be home ownership if something didn't go wrong when you try to improve the home. You know?
Oh man. So I managed to go get a new valve, and I got everything that's necessary to repair that. And I told Trudy the night before, I was like, before I started, I'm like, this is either going to take me an hour or 5. Like, there's no in between. Because she was asking me, like, how long is it going to take? I'm like, babe, it could be like an hour. It could be
10 minutes. Could be all day. Don't know.
There's no way to know until, like, the rubber hits the road here and we see what happens. So, yeah. So little did I know, though, that would actually probably be the easiest part of the process, because turned out whoever put the previous faucet in decided, oh, I'm just going to caulk the crap out of the top and the bottom of the sink. So everything was like glued, secured, stuck.
Which is what you want, but not what you want when you're fixing it. So
yeah, and I mean, and there's better ways to do it than that. Like they just made a mess under there, and I'm like, yeah, I was just started. It got to the point where I was just beating things with a hammer to kind of break it apart. Like I was chiseling like things off, and I'm like, this isn't how you're supposed to do it.
You should just took it like a baseball bat at the faucet head.
Whack. Bing. There's just no other way to get in there, dude. So yeah, it was a interesting process, but it only took me, I think it was just shy of 2 hours, like an hour and 45 minutes, and only 2 extra trips to the hardware store. So okay. I feel like that was pretty good record right there, honestly. I managed to swap out the valve and put a new faucet in, and it works. It actually works. No more leaks. No leaks. All Everything's right. Good. I'm like, all right, cool.
That's the best we can ask for.
Felt pretty accomplished, but it was just one of those things where, I was just like, oh man, like, halfway through, I'm like, what did I get myself into? What am I doing here? Why did I volunteer for this?
Your whole life just starts cataloging in front of you. It's not a near-death experience, but you might as well be.
What did I do that my life led to this moment right now? What mistake did I make? I'm under a sink pretending like I know what I'm doing. But hey, you know what? A little elbow grease in YouTube videos go a long way.
It does. It builds character. You know what I mean? You're a better person for having done it. And you got a story to tell.
Yeah, and on top of that, if anyone needs a faucet replaced, let me know. I'll do it real cheap for them.
You learned a skill. Well, you honed a skill.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. I guess we can talk about video games now. That's what everyone's here for. So,
if you must.
Yeah, I guess so. Today, we're going to be talking about if a new Switch reveal might be incoming. PlayStation's new controller that you just have to buy. And if Spider-Man 2 is too short. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumple Smash, Eddie Martin, and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 each month gets you episodes early and ad-free for the entire month. Including this show and Super Later Boys, which is our Patreon exclusive show. There are 3 episodes up right now. A couple more incoming that are behind schedule, but you'll get them when you get them. And you know what? They'll be good. You'll enjoy them either way. The other 3 are up and they are fantastic. And we also have 2 seasons of Super Gamer Book Club that you can check out over there. And one of those is Patreon exclusive as well, the first season. So you got lots of content, just $1 a month. We're going to talk more about our Patreon later on the show. Real quick here, I do want to give a shout out to DJ Trues. Their tunes should be playing in the background here, and I appreciate them for allowing us to use their music, and you should go show them some love by listening to their stuff over on Apple Music and Spotify. Link should be in the show description, or just search DJ Trues, Trooz. All right, Adrian, I think it's time to check the mail.
All right. Wait a minute.
Where's Super Gamer Bot?
Did they leave a note?
I mean, I don't even see them here
at
all.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Super Gamer Bot is on strike.
Oh no.
Yeah, they said
we're no better than Hollywood.
They said because of last week, and they feel that they've been mistreated. Huh?
Dang.
Because there were no questions last week.
Oh man.
Oh boy. Okay. We're gonna have to figure something out.
Well, I guess I can, work my voice more than it should. That's the reason we had Super Gamer Bot. Because. No, just kidding.
Now we are the greedy executives.
Yeah, is that what it is? Oh no, where are the evil ones?
Are we the baddies?
All right. Well,
until negotiations get underway, we're gonna have to.
They didn't warn us last week.
That's true.
They did say they were pretty upset about having to come, and then there's no questions. So I don't blame them. Hopefully they're back next week. But in the meantime,
clearly negotiations are going to be underway, so we're going to have to figure something out.
I have to have some chat, see what we can do, get Super Gamer Bot back in here, make sure they're happy, because they were a very valuable part of the episode.
Still are.
I mean, well, they were. They're not here right now, so they're not.
Well, I'm trying to be, supportive here.
Okay, all right, right, yeah.
Show that I'm willing to come to the table, unlike certain Hollywood bigwigs.
Yeah, or Insomniac. No.
Or Insomniac, yeah.
Well, as well as other studios. I shouldn't just single out Insomniac as this first one that popped.
Yeah, it's just Insomniac is the most heartbreaking one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this first question comes from Sir Prince Lot. And he wants to know, what game are you the worst at? And I'm afraid to answer this question because I have a feeling he has some ulterior motives. Like he's going to be like, hey, I bet you $500 I can beat you in this game. And it's going to be that one game that we're bad at. I feel like this is a setup. Like you're just trying to, kind of like when people ask what your worst fear is. And then
so they can use it against you later.
And then they work it into the D&D campaign that we might have done last year. Speaking of, you guys, we haven't done any Spooky Gamer Boys content this year. We're kind of on sabbatical this year. We're like, let's just take a little bit of a break because we've gone hard since the beginning. But Super Dungeon Boys is still an incredible show that you should go check out. Sir Prince Lot DM'd for us. Me, JJ, and Adrian played. So go check that out. But Adrian, do you have a game that you are just the absolute dog water at?
I would say, even though I like playing them a lot, probably shooters, I think would be my weakest link. I don't know. I'm not a good shot in video games. In real life, not that bad, but yeah, I don't know what it is about having to. It doesn't matter if it's mouse or keyboard or if it's with a controller. I just, staying on that little target, that little crosshair for some reason is much more difficult in the game than it is in real life.
It's tricky
at the range.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I'd have to agree. That's what I was thinking about it, and I came up with two. So I came up with Warzone, but really any first-person shooter, but like Warzone is the one that just ruffles my feathers for whatever reason. Like I can be trash in Apex and it's fine. I can be trash in Hunt Showdown, it's fine. But for some reason, like Warzone just like rubs me the wrong way, and it gets really frustrating. And a lot of times what I do if I do play Warzone, I was actually just talking to my brother about this. I was like, I've kind of like written off the battle royale. Like screw that. Like that sucks because that's just way too competitive. People get way too sweaty in there. But there's the other mode. What's it called? Is it DMZ? Whatever. What's the one where you're just like basically you always respawn, and the point of it is just to get the most money. I
wish I knew, brother. I have not played any Warzone.
Okay, I think that's someone in the chat knows. It's been years since I've played Warzone, but there was a mode, and me and Sir Prince used to play together. That's basically just like run around and collect bounties and do like random objectives and hold locations, and just the whole point is just okay, who has the most money at the end, and if you die you just respawn, like it was a blast. It was much less competitive, or maybe it was competitive, but the fact that you just like, oh, keep coming back, it's whatever, who cares, this is fun, just joyriding around the map or whatever. But yeah, battle royale is just like, or any more competitive thing, it's like gets so sweaty.
Give me a call when zombies comes back, like actual
right
thought and effort put into it. Zombies comes back, I'll be there.
And then the other game that I'm terrible at and it's one that makes me very sad because I wish I was good at, because I want to play it so bad, and I've talked about this one before, you guys all know what it is. It's Bloodborne. I love everything about that game. Like I've watched some gameplays of it, like playthroughs, like I've looked into lore and story stuff. I love just the aesthetic looking at it. But I now that I've played Elden Ring, I almost want to go back and see. I haven't tried it since then. I almost want to see like, oh, maybe my skill has improved slightly, especially now that I had like, even though I haven't played Elden Ring in a while, sometimes just understanding the mechanics a little better on an easier mode I was like, oh, okay, that'll translate to like maybe it's a little harder, but I still kind of understand like, oh, what I need to do now, because that was the struggle before too, is I never played any Soulsborne game and just jumped into Bloodborne. I'm like, why, what is happening? What is this? People said it was hard, but they never like explained why, and so
now
I haven't tried
everything.
It, but it's one of those things where like, I wish I was good at that game, because there's people who like freaking speed that run that game now, and like you watch these videos like, oh yeah, I finished it in like just 5 hours, or probably quicker than that. Like that's probably not
the other side of that story that they never tell though, is that you see the one speed run that they got right, but all the hundreds of hours that they spent practicing, and all the hundreds of runs that were messed up and they had to start over. I only keep the one that makes me look cool, but nobody knows I spent days trying to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even the point. I'm not interested in speedrunning, but the point is like, it just makes me mad that some people can beat it in like 4 hours and I can't even get past the first 20 minutes. Well,
that's what I'm saying, is they all had to practice too. Nobody just hops into a Souls game and is like, I'm automatically the greatest at it. No, you gotta die a lot until you learn those patterns. So don't feel too bad.
But maybe one day. Maybe I'll try it again one day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it. That's the only question we got. So thank you, Sir Prince-Lot, and all the rest of you. Shame. For shame.
You ran off GamerBot, man.
But they could be back next week if you guys write in some questions. Remember, you can write us anywhere. Just DM us on social media at Super Gamer Boys, or if you want to do it the cool way, you can join our Discord. It's completely free, and you can chat with us throughout the week over at supergamerboys.com/discord. And yeah, like I said, it's free. We got a channel over there called Submit Mailbag, where you can drop the questions right there, and I can curate them, kind of get them together for a fun little show segment. So yeah, write it in. We'd love to chat, love to answer your questions. I guess that means it's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
That is right. So that means I need to do two things real quick here.
Pull up them slides, my man.
Yeah, there we go. There it is. Beautiful. All right. This first news story comes from Jim Norman over at NintendoLife.com. The original Switch reveal trailer has been removed from Nintendo's YouTube channel. Get ready to put your detective hats on, folks, because there's a mystery afoot. The Nintendo Switch reveal trailer, you know, the one where the group of trendy people play the up-and-coming console at such memorable and realistic venues as a rooftop party or at a basketball court, has been removed from the official Nintendo YouTube channel. This was first brought to our attention by Reddit user CarbVan on r/gaming leaks and rumors, and sure enough, looking at the YouTube channel in question, the reveal trailer is nowhere to be found. Of course, the video remains available online through outer outlets, the one posted by GameSpot, for example, so you can still find inspiration for which wacky and wonderful location you will play your Switch next, but the question still stands. Why has it been removed from its initial source? The simple and unfortunately most likely answer is that it has been removed due to a music licensing issue. The trailer's backing track, Ha 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 Yeah by White Denim, is a song that as Reddit user... Reddit user...
What's the way you read it?
Ha 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 Yeah.
Ha 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 Yeah.
Am I becoming Super Gamerbot? I'm turning into an AI.
Oh, that was good.
Who knows? I mean, you don't know. Maybe I'm an AI right now. I'm not even here. I'm up kicking it in my room, taking a nap.
Impressive. You must have paid a lot for it.
Yeah. As Reddit user They Call Me Radek points out, appears to be in some legal trouble after the track's initial distributors were recently taken over by another company. Questions about the song's true owner are usually reason enough for a video such as this to be taken down, and there is every chance that we have seen exactly that in this instance. But what if there's another reason? CarbVan's original post does point out that Nintendo has intentionally removed reveal trailers in the past to make way for another, perhaps connected announcement right around the corner. We might be replacing our detective hats with ones more of the tinfoil variety, but could we be seeing something similar happening here? After all, rumors of the Switch 2 continue to circulate at a higher and higher density each week. Is the removal of the OG Switch reveal trailer a sign of things to come? So yeah, that about sums it up. But Adrian, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's just a simple music licensing issue, or could we be seeing a Switch announcement trailer soon? Maybe at the Game Awards or something.
So my rational brain is saying that's most likely the case, is that it's a music licensing issue because, like you said, the rights have changed hands and who knows who has what. However, I do think it is really weird that they would license a trailer for only 5 or 6 years to use.
Well, I think the issue, though, isn't necessarily that like their licensing is up. The issue is that the company that owned the license originally just got sold, and there's a legal battle between the band and the new company or something like that. So it's more of like an issue with that end, and it could be connected.
So they're not even trying to mess, like,
yeah, it
begin
almost sounds
to be
like
involved in it.
Yeah, it sounds like Nintendo's like, I think what could be happening is, yeah, they're like, we don't even want to be involved and we don't want to get in trouble from either side, so we'll just take it down. That's one way. My only thought, though, with that, because if anyone is leaning that way, my devil's advocate here would be then, well, why is GameSpot keeping theirs up? Why are other outlets allowed to keep it up, but Nintendo says no? Like, you think if there was a weird, like, maybe Nintendo got a ping or a flag through YouTube's automated system, why didn't anyone else get it, and why isn't anyone else taking it down?
Maybe because Nintendo is the copyright holder of, or not copyright, but like the actual proprietor, and everybody else can say, well, we were just reporting on, you know, what Nintendo was doing at the time using that footage. So they can say, fair use, journalistic research, all that jazz to protect themselves. Right? Because they're not the licensee. Nintendo is the licensee. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Copyright can get pretty serious pretty quick. And so to me, it just seems like if there's a copyright issue, like, I mean, we've seen it like where, not necessarily for like a music soundtrack thing, but for, let's say something leaks early and people post about it, then all of a sudden it's like there's like worldwide, internet-wide, just things like Sony just all of a sudden shutting every video down that even has a snippet of it, like a half a second,
right?
You know, and it's
I never understood why they do that. That's not. It's already out there. It's just people are just gonna post it. The more you take it, it's the the Streisand effect. The more you don't want people to see it, the more it's gonna get out there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It definitely seems futile at one point or another. It's like, all right, we like give it up. Like it's out there. Like do one big sweep, but then it's like if it just keeps getting up, like, all right, you're just gonna whack moles all day. You know, right. You can't just do trying to like stop them. You're gonna be there forever.
That's wasting resources
until the original or until the actual like release date comes. But I don't know. So that's my thought. Like I'm playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, where I feel like, because copyright's pretty serious. Like if it was that, I feel like other places would have to take it down. I mean, we stream the Game Awards. We could also claim journalistic whatever, like, hey, we were just reporting and reacting to it. But no, like YouTube's like, no, you take this out or we're not going to show your video. Like we get flags all the time. Granted, we're not as big as a GameSpot or IGN, but
right,
it doesn't like rules like laws are the laws kind of thing.
Across
like,
the board,
they affect us just as the same as they would affect a bigger company. So that's what makes me think there could be more. This could be an up and coming reveal, but
my only hang up, right, with this might be something for the Switch 2, you know, is the timing. We're hot on the heels of Mario Wonder, right?
Yeah.
And granted, it may not be as big of a seller, but we still have Mario RPG coming out next month. So for them to put out a system reveal trailer or a teaser, maybe a teaser I could see, you know, like, we've got something new on the horizon. Come back and check it out late December or something like that when we do an event for it. But I don't see a full-on console reveal coming out now, because you're cannibalizing your momentum that you have with Mario Wonder now, with RPG in the near future. And I think
when is RPG coming out?
Next month, and WarioWare is coming out next month.
Yeah, but WarioWare I think is small peanuts to them.
I know, but still, it's a game that you made that you want to sell. But so that would be my only thing about why it may not be a console reveal. Like at the very most, I would say logically it's probably a teaser, if anything else. Maybe we'll get like the name of the console and then come see more later. You know, that would be like ultra tinfoil hat for me. That'd be as crazy as I would.
Yeah. When did the original Switch when did that first trailer come out?
I think it was the October before it came out. So like October 2016. And then it came out March 2017. But they could do that because there was no software that they were selling at the time.
Right. Yeah, it's October 20th, 2016. Again though, like, okay, like a little rebuttal to that then would be, I think Game Awards is far enough away from Wonder and Super Mario RPG, because RPG is coming on the 17th. Okay, it gives people still a couple weeks. And I don't think it's going to be a full on. Yeah, I don't think it's a full on like, oh, here's all the features. I think if anything, it is just like a quick little like how reveal.
Series X did it.
Kind of like a little
Game
like
Awards.
Yeah, just like, hey, something's coming. They might show the console and show like features, but not actually explain the features. Like you might see people doing things with it, but like, you're not going to get any explanation. And then that, you know, just to kind of get hype. And then, and I mean, and also like, there's been rumors that the Switch 2, or not even rumors, I feel like I wish I could remember where I read this. I thought I read somewhere that someone at Nintendo had said recently that the plan is for there to be like a seamless transition between the Switch and Switch 2. Like there was like compatibility, like games will still work, that type of thing.
I feel like I saw
that. I mean, that's not a given with Nintendo though. That's the thing. Like from console to console.
It used to be a given with them.
With handheld stuff.
Huh?
With handhelds, but not necessarily home consoles. Home consoles are generally...
We played GameCube, Wii U played Wii and GameCube, and then they stopped.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So it is more... I mean, I guess I'm thinking more classic, like from Super to... Or from NES to Super Nintendo, like you could, and from Super Nintendo to N64, you could. So right. It wasn't really part of their DNA, but yeah, I guess you're right. From GameCube to Wii U, it kind of was. But yeah, so... My thought is like it wouldn't necessarily be cannibalizing things because it's like, hey, like, yeah, keep buying your games because they're going to work on the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called. So
you would have to hammer that point, and I think that would take away from the, ooh, wow, shiny new Switch 2. You know what I mean? You have to in order to reassure people, I think that would take a large chunk of whatever preview time that they want to actually focus on the unit. If this is just a teaser. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's why it's hard. You have to balance that.
It could be just a quick like text that flies across the screen, like, you know, play new games plus your favorite Switch titles or whatever. Like it can be extremely simple, more elegant than that, obviously. But I think that could be simple enough to get across, and that way they're not like shutting down sales on games they just released and whatnot. But I don't know. I just think. Because the soonest we could see console from them was like April. They had said like the end of the fiscal year of this year. Like
that makes the most sense.
They said I feel like a report came out, or they themselves came out and said there's nothing coming out in the 2023 fiscal year, which ends in April or May or something like that. April, and so like okay, so. They don't have to reveal anything right now because even if they revealed something now, there's still a while before it comes out. But I also don't think it hurts them
I'm still
either.
banking on Q3 of 2024 for release. So like that August, September, or what is that, July, August, September kind of deal. I think that window would be a good date for them. However, like we were just saying though, after these 3 games come out in November, there's nothing else left. So they technically could do April.
The Daisy game. Not Daisy, sorry. Peach.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you can do that. You can make it a cross-gen.
Yeah.
Because Metroid's going to be cross-gen now. So... I mean, they didn't say it was going to be...
If it even exists, dude. At this point, I'm starting to wonder if it's all just
they didn't say it was going to be cross-gen,
we all collectively had.
The lack of them not saying, or the lack of them saying anything means it's cross-gen at this point.
I'm not arguing whether it's cross-gen or not. I'm arguing whether it even exists or not.
Yeah, it does. It had to get back into the rightful hands, and they like to take their time. Retro can take as much time as they want to. I'll be here.
So yeah, there's that. Stay tuned, I guess, and we'll keep track of it here. You'll hear if anything comes out. My prediction, Game Awards, we get a little teaser or something like that. But again,
I would be
we'll see.
Pleasantly surprised if that did happen. Would not be surprised if it didn't and was actually just licensing. So we shall see.
We shall. All right. Moving on to this next news story. This is written by Dua Rashid over at Gizmodo. Sony patents a PS5 controller that stores and charges earbuds. Sony recently patented Yeah, right. Sony recently patented a PS5 controller that can also store and charge wireless earbuds. The controller would feature a pair of slots where the buds can be docked for storage. The dock would also be able to charge them and pair them to a console. According to the company, using the controller as an earbuds case and a charger eliminates the need to manage 2 separate devices and simplifies the overall experience, as the user will now have one less device to manage communication with the gaming device. The buds being stored inside the controller will also allow users... this is so ridiculous. With a proprietary low latency audio connection between the earbuds and the controller, and simplify communication between the mics or speakers of the buds with the controller. It will also reduce the number of devices a user would have to track. The final design for the controller has not been finalized yet. The patent shows multiple concepts from where the slots would be located. Most of the designs propose the buds going behind the touchpad, while one option shows them being in each of the controller's grips. That sounds like a nightmare. According to Sony, the design would help streamline management of two separate pairing processes and batteries by condensing them into one. Because the DualSense already has such a vast battery capacity, right? The patent was filed on April 7th, 2022 and published last week, with the Pulse Explorer earbuds being released earlier this year. I didn't know they came out already. The earbuds are out already?
Are they?
According to this article,
I'll double check. You keep reading.
Yeah. According to this article, because it says, with the Pulse Explorer earbuds being released earlier this year, there's a chance we might see the launch of the new PS5 controller soon that stores Sony's proprietary earbuds. We already saw the announcement on the PlayStation Access controller that is due to be launched this year. It is important to note that a patent doesn't mean a final product will ever materialize, and given the relatively limited battery life that is Sony's DualSense controller, this might not be the most practical idea, but it has potential. Man,
he's talking about the Razer ones.
Well, it's not.
You know, the Razer made those their own PS5 earbuds earlier this year. That must be what he's talking about.
It says Pulse Explorer. Let me Google what Pulse Explorer is. I've never heard it. That's what the name.
Pulse. Yeah, I mean the Razers are. I think they're just Razer in-ear headphones.
The ones so the new PlayStation earbuds are called Pulse Explorer wireless earbuds. So they just must have their information incorrect, because according to this article, they said that they're out, but they are definitely not.
Or they think the Razers are those earbuds.
Yeah. So there is a mistake in this article. The earbuds have not been released yet, but so if this controller is to be a thing, I imagine they would release at similar time. You know. So like they'd be like, oh, here's earbuds and here's a handy dandy controller that you can charge them in. But this is whack. Like, what is? I feel like this is like a new.
We're on the same page.
This is a new segment. This is a new segment to our show, where we just I don't know, criticize PlayStation.
This is where we're trying to figure out what Sony is thinking.
Right.
That's this new segment, because it seems like every week is something new that we got to try to figure out what is going on at that company.
It's true. Last week was a PS5 Slims. The week before, what was it? Every week we have a PlayStation story. And so he's like, what are you guys doing over there? Like, what are you smoking?
They're like, how do we make it as difficult as possible for the consumer to not only afford, but recognize and buy our products and services? How do we make them as awful for the consumer as possible? Like they have meetings about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just, because my thought was, immediately, and they say at the end of the article, the battery life on the DualSense, granted, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. You know, there's a lot of features. Why aren't they using
that space for battery?
Yeah, exactly.
If you have space to put a whole pair of earbuds in there, why don't you put a bigger battery in there?
Exactly.
My Elite controller lasts 8 lifetimes compared to a DualSense, and don't get me started on the DualSense Edge. That maybe lasts about 20 minutes.
Oh, do you have one?
I had one. I got rid of it because I died every 15 seconds. As soon as I took it off the charger. Your DualSense Edge has low battery. I'm being hyperbolic, but it was horrible battery life.
So bad. What the heck?
Horrible.
Oh man. Yeah, it's the battery life's not great. And then, I get it. Like they mentioned, the pros are, instead of having to control or connect the controller to the PlayStation and then your earbuds to the PlayStation, if you just connect the earbuds to the controller, then it's almost like you're just daisy chaining everything together. So there could be less latency. Things can move a little quicker, stuff like that. I'm like, all right, I see that, but is it worth spending another $80+ for this controller that's going to die every 30 minutes? Like,
you could just get a cradle for the controllers. That's like $35-$40, and then you just charge the controllers in the cradle and plug your headset directly up, your earbuds directly up to the port on the front, and charge them that way. Boom. I save you another $40. There you go.
I'm sure that they're going to come out with a dock too, and that's 100%. Yeah, just plug the dock plug the controller in the dock, plug the headphones in the dock, you're good to go. Everything charges, everything's right there ready for you.
Right.
I love the selling point too. Like, oh, you don't have to, it's to help you keep track. So reduce the number of devices a user would have to track. Like, what are you talking? It's one extra piece you're losing, and it's not even like a hard to lose. It's like it's the full on case for the headphones. How do you lose?
What am I tracking?
Yeah,
they never leave my house. My controllers never leave my house. What am I tracking?
Big Game Hunter.
What are you talking about?
It's like Cabela's Big Game Hunter. You're just like heading through the woods, tracking your headphones. Where are you at?
They're always in one area by the console. Why would they be anywhere else? And why would they leave my Sony? Sony, what are we doing?
I don't know. They're just grasping at straws at this point, trying to make money, which is like wild because I mean, I don't pay attention necessarily to all the crazy financials and stuff, but from what I can tell, they're not hurting for cash. Like they're not. They have crazy sales on consoles. And they're getting crazy sales on games. Like they are like, why do they push so hard all these crazy accessories that no one needs, no one wants? I don't know.
Like a VR headset. Oh
yeah, or the PSP, PlayStation Portal.
Oh, okay. I was like, excuse me, sir. What?
The new, the good PSP that came out just recently,
Oh, yes, of course.
We had a comment on a video recently. It was this last week because it was a video about the PlayStation Slim being a scam.
Being wacky.
And then someone commented on it and said PlayStation Portal is fire though. And I was like, I want to sit down with this person. I want to sit down and interview this person. And like, first of all, do you even own one? And secondly, why and how? Like what?
So you don't like having your own money, sir? Because that's the only thing this product is going to do is take your money.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just the funniest thing. Because that's the first time I've seen anyone positive on the Portal. Yeah, there's some dude in the comments like, PlayStation Portal's fire though. And I'm like, what? I hope he's being sarcastic. Doesn't that thing come out
like next week? I can't wait. I am so curious to see if this is actually going to pan
out. November 15th. So we still got like a month or so, just shy of a month. But I mean, they're available for pre-order right now on the store. Add it to cart, $199.99. Want me to pre-order one for you?
You can order me one in about a year from now when they're about $29.99, and then I'll take one when they're fire sailing them.
I feel like this is gonna be like a PlayStation TV situation where like they go on they're full price and then very quickly go on super discount, and then the wild thing is what's gonna happen is then they're gonna discontinue it very quickly, like within a couple years.
Shoot back
and it's gonna on eBay. It's like get a PlayStation Portal for $800 because they don't make them anymore.
I remember seeing on GameStop ads for PlayStation TV that was like PlayStation TV $19.99. Now they're what, $150, $160?
You try to get one now, it's like it's a lot, but it's because there's so few of them made, and
Nah, I'm good. Man. I'll keep my Vita, thank you.
Do you remember the PlayStation like TV, actual TV they made? They made a PlayStation TV.
Yeah, the 3D one.
They made a PlayStation TV, which is basically like a Vita that played on your TV. But then they also made like a PlayStation TV that, had 3D built into it. Like you didn't need glasses. Or you did.
Was it Resistance or
It was the Motor Storm.
It was something else. I think it was Infamous. It was one of their other big IP games that they made a 3D like version for.
Because I remember playing the 3D version of whatever the MotorStorm game was that had come out. I forget if it's the first one or the sequel.
And you needed glasses for it, didn't you?
Oh, wasn't that the whole thing? Is you didn't need glasses, or did you? Can't. Oh no,
3DS
you did.
You
did, but you could play split screen, and the glasses showed different things. So one person could be looking at it. The first player one only saw player one things, and player two. So there's no screen looking. You couldn't, cheat off your other wild, crazy technology they used to see. PlayStation, I guess, has always been known for stupid things.
Is it crazy technology, or is that just how 3D works? Because one pair of glasses is just one color, right. And the other glasses is just the other color.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. It's just like it's 2 red lenses and 2 blue lenses, basically. Right. If we're talking like old school L3D, it wasn't actually red and blue.
Ain't fooling nobody. Especially in 2006, 2007, nobody was doing that.
But with all that to say, yeah, what I'm realizing, I guess Sony's always been one for like the weird, stupid accessories, but I don't know.
PlayStation Move.
But back then they
wanted to be the Wii so bad.
Okay, well, PlayStation Move was awesome.
The iToy.
I had iToy on PS2. That game I had there was some snowboard game. I don't remember what it's called, but it was so much fun. I loved the iToy. I had the iToy on PS2, the iToy on PS3. I'm not surprised
you had the iToy.
So good. Loved it. That's
why they keep making them.
But that was good. That was actually good.
No.
No, okay, but what I was saying though is like, I guess what I'm like, PlayStation has always been known for weird gimmicky accessories and stuff like that. Like, all right, I'll give it to him that way. But I think the difference is back then, like as a consumer of PlayStation products, we were being fed. Like they're making weird, wacky stuff, but there was awesome, killer, solid mainline stuff that we actually needed and wanted. So we weren't left wanting. Where right now, I feel like there's just features in products that we are wishing for, or even a PSVR 2, like that would be great. Just support it. Like, so that's the difference between then and now. Then it's like we were happy with what we had. So any extras, whether they're good or bad, who cares? But now it's like, oh, there's like main things we wish you would provide us. But
like you're still giving us schedule that would be good for starters to see what is actually coming to the console.
Right. But instead, like, they're giving us weird and wacky side stuff without like giving us the main course. And it's like, stop with the weird and wacky and just focus on like, what games are even coming out for the PS5? I don't know. After Spider-Man, what do we got?
All we know right now is that we got Wolverine next year. Is there anything else? Like from a first party studio that we know is coming next year?
We know everyone's working on stuff, but I think the only thing announced is Wolverine. Because there's an unannounced game from Naughty Dog that we have no idea. It could be anything.
Right. And then Death Stranding, but that's not technically first party. It's a PlayStation owned IP, but nothing from Sony Studios. We don't really know anything coming next year. Yeah. So it's wild. Absolutely wild. So Sony, come on. This is the weekly reminder. Get your crap together. We'll be back next week. We have to stop doing this, dude. They're going to think that we genuinely like have it out for them.
Which is ironic because just like 6 months ago, we were the biggest Sony ponies. And, according to the YouTube comments, and you only hate Starfield because you love the Xbox or PlayStation so much. It's like, guys, come on, chill out.
I think it depends on the lens of who's viewing, right? Whatever fanboy camp, if you come and see our video, you'll make your argument for one side or against the other. That's how this works.
Yep.
Real goober behavior.
Good stuff. All right. This last news story comes to us from, who is it? Ryan Dinsdale over at IGN. Spider-Man 2 dev addresses game cost versus length. I said that really weird. Game cost versus length debate. I put the space in the wrong spot there. It's real awkward.
Had your brain on the space bar too long?
I'm slowly turning into AI, into Super Gamer Bot. So I was just speaking incorrectly. Spider-Man 2's creative director has addressed the video game cost versus length debate that sparked ahead of launch. Fans looking forward to Insomniac Games' latest erupted in conversation with someone playing ahead of its October 20th release date leaked that achieving the Platinum Trophy, essentially 100% completion, took around 25 to 30 hours. Some fans noted this was similar to the original game and therefore fine with, while others grew upset after deeming Spider-Man 2 too short given its full price cost. 5 IGN team members revealed their completion time in our How Long is Spider-Man 2 article. Our fastest player finished story in 18 hours, and our slowest spent 25 hours before credits rolled. For us, it really comes down to the experience we want to deliver with the quality we want to hit, Insomniac's Brian Intihar told the BBC. Obviously, there's a certain level of, hey, someone's going to spend this much money on a game. So we want to give them the experience that's worth it. Spider-Man 2 is a full-price PlayStation 5 game, meaning it costs $69.99. That's the same price as Elden Ring, which has a platinum time of 80 to 100 hours, and Baldur's Gate 3 upwards of 100 hours, and Diablo 4 150 to 200 hours. But it's also the same price as plenty of critically acclaimed games that can be 100%ed in similar or less amount of times, though. And Intar said, it's less about completion time and more about quality for Insomniac. Our job is to make sure that you feel no matter how long it is, it's worth that money. It's worth that investment, he said. Insomniac will be looking to add more value to Spider-Man 2 post-launch though it's releasing a new Game Plus mode by the end of 2023, alongside some other new features, though no full-on DLC has been confirmed yet. So this is just a bunch of dum-dums complaining about nothing. The argument that just because it's a $70 game, it has to be a certain amount of hours, that's the stupidest argument I've ever heard. If that's the case, all games wouldn't be $70. Some would be 70, some would be 20, which is, that is a thing.
Right.
But the difference between a $70 game and a $20 game isn't the amount of time it takes to play. It's the quality. You're paying for a higher quality game.
These days, though, a lot of indie games that are, $20, $25 can be just as good in quality as
well, I mean
the
polish.
larger ones. Right.
Replace that with polish, because you're right. Gameplay wise, story wise, whatever. $20 game can still be just as good as a AAA game. But as far as the crazy physics and polish of the graphics and stuff like that, cinematicness or whatever,
right?
That tends to be for a more expensive game. But I don't know. What do you think of that? I already kind of shared my brief thought, but
I've always said this is the stupidest thing that people complain about. I do not understand it. I feel like the average person who is playing games, the average age I think is mid 20s to 30s, right? For people who play games at this point.
Probably. I don't know.
So exactly. It's the age bracket that people should be at work or spending time with their family, right? So right. That would mean that you don't have a lot of extra time in your day. So wouldn't you want to be able to fit that game into your schedule so you can actually get it done before the year that you bought it in is over? Wouldn't that be nice? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same argument criticism I have for Starfield. Starfield was oh, we had 1,000 planets. I'm no, you could have just really gave me 10 densely populated planets in different systems that I had to travel to that had story content on them. And I just went through, and then maybe that hub world that we go back to is there. It's too much to say in too little time, but the length of the game does not dictate the quality. It never has. It never will.
Right.
There are certain genres I do think that they liken themselves well to being longer. So your Spider-Mans, your Last of Us's, your Halos, anything of that scale, I liken it to a blockbuster, right? There is always so much going on and so much action or so much this or so much that. It's so bombastic. And if you had that for an enormous amount of time, you would get desensitized to it and get bored, right?
Yeah.
But if you had something that's
I feel like most games of that caliber, I get it to a certain point, even The Last of Us, which is an incredible game. I get to a certain point, I'm I'm just ready to wrap this story up.
Right.
Not because I'm necessarily sick of it, but because I'm I just need this, I want to know the end of the story. And if it went on for another 30 hours before I got to the end, then I would get sick of it. There's a lot of times where they hook you so good that I'm ready to resolve this now. Just with any movie, that's good. That's good storytelling. If they can hook me in such a few amount of hours and get me hyped for the ending, that's great. That's not a bad thing.
If Spider-Man was 50 hours, I don't think I would have ever finished it. Because it's just it's asking too much of me to have 50 hours worth of adrenaline filled car chases and enemy fights and stuff like that, right? But there are certain games that do liken themselves or are good fits for being long, right? So like your RPG, that makes sense because you're going on a journey, right? It's an epic. So that game spans a long period of time in that world. So it makes sense that it's that long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the rest of these, and when I say like they're flash in the pan, I know that usually has a negative connotation, but I mean that like if you're a good game, if you're a well-made game, you should be able to get in, tell your story, and get out.
Right.
If you're not like an RPG or something that's gonna, take place over a long length of time in your narrative.
It's like how the trend recently in Hollywood is all these long movies, and you know what? Everyone always complains as soon as they hear like, what, 3-hour runtime? Are you kidding me? But
Avatar.
But then like with video games, they're just like, it's not long enough. It's like, okay, what type of game is it? Because yeah, you're right, 100%. If it's an RPG, yeah, it should be longer. But when we're talking about this, like PlayStation specializes in cinematic, blockbuster, like action-packed stories, emotional stories, and it's like, yeah, that should be more like a Die Hard and not like an Avatar, kind of thing. Not that an Avatar's not even a good example because it's 3 hours.
I was gonna say
good. Not good.
Right.
An Endgame, whatever. Which one was longer? Infinity War or Endgame? One of those was like crazy long. Whatever it was.
Endgame was. I can't remember.
But yeah, like it's like, oh, like that's an hour and a half movie versus a 2.5 movie or almost 3 hour, whatever it was. Like, so like that's the difference here is like, yeah, it really does depend on the genre, I feel like. And so you're getting such a high caliber of
it's so crazy to me that people
story
want these games to be this long. I would hate a 50-hour Spider-Man. I would hate a 50-hour God of War.
I would be fine with it, like a 50-hour Spider-Man, if it was a Spider-Man RPG of some sort. Like It's a completely different game altogether, not connected to the current Spider-Man lore. Like I
would love to see how somebody could do a Spider-Man RPG.
Yeah, so like a Spider-Man like that makes sense. But yeah, like the cinematic in and out, we're telling a story. This is a summer blockbuster film in a video game form. That would be absolutely bizarre and would turn me off immediately.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where this. I mean, I understand the sentiment that the average person is saying. Like, I spent all this money on this game, and I want to make sure that I'm getting my money's worth. But
yeah,
you have to think of it in terms of the experience, right? Like we were just talking about, is you buy a movie ticket for a movie that's only 2.5 hours, but the ticket is $20. If the movie is really good, what do? Do you walk out and go, man, that ticket was $20? You know what I mean? That movie was so good, but the ticket was $20. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
All they talk about is how good the movie was. So why is that different for games? Right? If you pay $60 for a game and you play that game and what you played was awesome, but you don't ever go, oh, but it was $60. All you ever talk about is how good the game was.
Yeah. And what the other thing that just popped in my head too is like, okay, people complain about the length. And so with a game like this, to pad it out, because like even from this article, people who mainline the story finished it in 18 hours. But there's all the optional side missions and side quests and collectibles. And those people took closer to 30 hours, right? Or just shy of 30 hours. It just popped in my head. I'm like, that's like it just made me laugh because okay, they add more side quests and more collectibles, and then people are like, oh, they got too much. They're just shoving a bunch of crap in there, blah, blah, blah. So you just can't make them happy either way. You can't make them happy either way because on one hand, it's not enough content, but then they start adding in more collectibles or whatever, and it's all of a sudden it's like too much content, too much garbage content. Oh, they didn't give us anything good. No substance. It's like it's a bunch of filler, and it's like, oh, shut up, like.
Right, but then when they give you the stuff straight, like they did with Spider-Man, oh, now there's not enough to do.
Come on,
bro.
Not enough. So
also, we didn't even talk about or touch on this point. if people want this, then it's going to make the games take longer to develop.
That too.
Which means you're getting less games, throughout that time period.
Yep.
So if that's what you want, if you want bigger games, you got to stop crying on Twitter about, oh man, these games take so long, they keep getting delayed, blah 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 blah. What do you want? It's that age-old triangle, right? Cheap, fast, and good. You can't have all three.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy. More and more I'm like, the internet sucks. We should just shut it down. Let's shut down the internet. We don't need it.
It feels like trolling, man. I feel like most of these people are just trying to get clicks and trying to get a rise out of people because they just say some of the dumbest stuff.
Yeah. People are stupid. Oh man. All right. Well, I think that's it for the nerdy nudes this week. We're gonna head off now into our Patreon ad. All right, this is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1, and you get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, as well as our Super Later Boys, and previous seasons of Super Gamer Book Club, all available over there for you, ad-free. And starting at 1 month, you get those early and ad-free. $5 a month, you can get the show notes early. You get the previous perks and the show notes for each and every episode, so that way you can see exactly what we're going to be talking about, the listener questions that were written in, what we've been playing, the whole show doc, so you know exactly what's going to happen. And from there, you can leave your own questions, comments, concerns, thoughts. Maybe you had thoughts on the Switch trailer news story this week, or maybe you want to talk about what game you've been playing recently, maybe Super Mario Brothers Wonder, or if you want to share your thoughts on a listener question, what's the game you're worst at? You can leave the comments right on the doc for us to see. We read it here on the air, so that way you can be a part of the show. Also, $10 levels, next level up, where you can get shout outs at the top of each and every episode, and all those previous perks. So if you really love what we do, $10 a month, you can get those episodes early and free, access to the show notes and the shout out, so everyone can know that you are a big time Super Gamer Boys fan. In the top dog tier, we do offer the Super Gamer Producer, Patreon Producer tier, where you can support us at $15 a month, get early and ad-free episodes, get the show notes, get the shout-outs in the show, and the perks of just working with us behind the scenes if you'd like. You can pitch us show segments, and help build this show, build out other shows, whatnot. If you're looking to just kind of be in communication and work alongside us, or if you just love our content, it seems like that's most of our Patreon producers at this point just love our content, then think about supporting us there, because all that money goes towards right back into the show, whether it's buying games, buying equipment, just keeping the things running, hosting sites and podcasts and whatnot. It's not cheap. So, everything costs money, even just to host most of this stuff. So we appreciate it when, you guys support us. So if you're looking for one other way to support us, you're like, hey, you know what? I don't have $1 right now, but I do have Amazon Prime and I have a Twitch account. Well, what you can do is link those two together, link your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account, and you get a free Prime gaming sub each and every month that you can use over at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. We would very much appreciate it if you threw that our way. We have quite a few people who hit us up each month and drop those off, and we appreciate it. Cost you $0, but we get $5 out of it. So think about dropping that over on our channel, totally free to you. Helps support the channel, and you get access to the emotes, exclusive emotes that you can only get by subscribing on Twitch. You can use all across Twitch on this channel or other channels. So think about supporting us there. We'd very much appreciate it. All right, that is it. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, Adrian, it is now time to talk about What you playing?
Well, speak of the devil, let me go ahead and do my little first pick here. I recently just finished Spider-Man Miles Morales earlier today. I thought it was a fantastic game. Really great story.
So
it
good.
is built on the same system and skeleton as the original Spider-Man 2018, and I'm sure they went in and fixed some stuff and bust some stuff up for this. Yeah, thought it was awesome.
Well, you played the PS5 version or the PS4 version?
Yeah, PS5.
Okay.
I thought it was perfect. It was maybe perfect length, maybe about 12 hours of a story. So that worked out perfectly for me. And if, like we were saying earlier, if Spider-Man 2 is 18 to 20 hours, that might be a little long for me, but it's manageable because I can always just break it up too. So, but yeah, fantastic game.
Yeah,
Highly
that
recommended.
game is great. I haven't played it in a few years, but when it came out, because it came out on PS4 as well, right?
Yeah, it was cross-gen.
So I think I played on PS4 if I remember right. But
those load times, oh brother, couldn't be me.
At the time though, I feel like I remember playing it and be like, oh, I think this is better than the first one. And so I loved the story. I thought it was great, and his abilities are so cool.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm excited about Spider-Man 2 is just, obviously getting the evolution of this already incredible series, but yeah, his abilities are so much fun. His character is so great. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it was an awesome game. So
you want to go? You want me to keep going?
I mean, I think we have one in common. So let me just share before we talk about that common one. I did play more Pokemon Legends Arceus. That game is very
still liking
good.
It?
Still very good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. And I'm spending a little more time exploring this time. Last time I felt like I was kind of blitzed through some stuff, just like, oh, let's get through some of the mission or whatever, blah blah blah. Because I think at that point too, I was just like, I just got to play some to talk about on the show. When I realized I might have done myself a disservice a little bit. I don't think I had necessarily anything negative to say back then, but just with a little more exploration and exploring some of the crafting stuff, being a little more adventurous with what Pokemon I encounter in the wild, I'm like, oh, I'm having a lot of fun with this, because that was a big thing. The mechanic of the open world Pokemon game was very new at that point. And on top of that, Arceus introduces Pokemon will also attack you, the trainer. So that's new in any Pokemon game. And so I would just avoid stuff like the plague because I was just scared all the time. You go out in the wilderness and you're like, I'm gonna die. You
gotta do something. That's how you catch them. You gotta face your fears. That's how you get the good ones. The alphas.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I started doing this playthrough now, is being a little gutsier and going after it. And even though I'm I think my Pokemon are averaging around 14 or 15, level 13, 14 or 15. I've already caught a couple alphas that were up, level 30 or whatever. So it's all right,
look at you.
So just going for it, it's seeing I know I'm super under leveled. Let's see what happens. And
full send it.
Having a blast. It's a lot more fun. Although, man, it's nerve wracking. Yeah. Throwing the Pokeball. There's one that I caught the other day. Is it a Parasect? That's the big one, the evolution, the evolved one. Because a Paris is a small one.
Of Paris, yeah.
And then Parasect, I think it's a big one.
It is.
And there's an alpha one, and I had gone through all 6. I was on my last Pokemon, and it was a little level 9 Pichu, so not strong at all. And I threw one Pokeball at it, and it was Parasect. It was super low health. I was like, come on, I just gotta just one of these has to work. Come
Don't
on,
wipe my team.
Come on, RNG gods, work in my favor, because I'd already thrown thrown 3 Pokeballs, and he kept escaping, and he was getting enraged too, which makes it harder. And I'm like, no. Right. So I'm on my last one. I throw a Pokeball, and he breaks out again. But then something happened where he didn't attack and he missed. I'm like, whew, all right, I get one more chance at this. I throw another Pokeball and he got out again. Oh my gosh, this is it. I'm dead. He went to, he didn't attack, but it was like I forget what the ability was, but basically just put my Pichu to sleep. So it didn't kill him. I'm like, okay, I get one more chance. And finally on the third, well,
everything slows down.
It's like,
jumps up.
This is my last chance. Throw that Pokeball at him, and it finally caught him. And I was like sweating, just like, woo! I did not think I was going to survive that, but so it just feels so good. Like there's such high stakes on like not only the Pokemon, fighting each other, but then immediately afterwards I leave and I'm surrounded by a lot of other like he wasn't the only Pokemon around. I'm like, I have one Pichu left who's asleep.
I am,
and I don't know what to do right now. This is so terrifying, but it's fun. But the other game we've been playing, and that is Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, and I want to hear your thoughts, Adrian, on this, because I know you have been absolutely stoked for this one.
I have been, and let me tell you right now, I am freaking over the moon about this game.
Yes.
It has delivered on every level for me. Mm-hmm. Like it is everything ever since that reveal trailer and they showed the new art style and how everything plays differently, I'm like, I am all in on this. And that bet paid off big time because this game is fan-freaking-tastic.
So good. That's one thing.
My God.
I've also been playing it, and you mentioned the art style and just the animations. Like, it's
alive.
It's everything is, I don't know. Yeah. Like in every little minute detail, even in things that don't even matter, things most people wouldn't even notice. Like if you just look in the backgrounds or even like just the way, like even his jump animation or I don't know, like every animation was cranked to 11. Like,
yes.
Like it's
have
like,
you ever ran on ice as a character?
Not yet. No.
If you slight spoiler, if you run on ice and you let go of the run, your character like kind of does like this to keep their balance while they're sliding on the ice.
That's so good.
Who thinks of that? So you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's how it is with everything. Yeah. It's just like these little minute things where it's like, oh, you're jumping a certain way, or a certain enemy has just watching their attack animations and stuff like that. And it's like, man, there's like so much thought put into each of these. Like it's not just because it's not even just like a generic like 3D movement. It's not like they're just like taking a 3D model and like, here's where we're going to start and like here's where we end. It's like, or it's not like a 2D thing where it just goes like a sprite that just changes.
Right.
It's has like the animation has a style in itself. Like it's not it reminds me of like how like Spider-Verse, they have the whole like, oh, animates on the 1s and 3s or whatever, right? Isn't that what it is?
Uh-huh.
Where like this isn't doing that, but it's that type of style where you look at it, you're like, this looks different than any other Mario game and feels different, and it's so fun. It's so good and so thoughtful too.
It feels Patrick and Mark, the Nintendo Cartridge Society guys, they might get mad at me for this. I don't care. This game feels as good as Super Mario World to me. Like not like, oh, it's almost no. This game and Mario World, as far as control, are exactly as good as each other. I have never felt like, oh, like, oh, I died because the game wouldn't do this, or I mean, I'm pulling off maneuvers left and right. I'm crouching, sliding, jumping, doing using my power, using a spin jump and jumping off a guy and then stop. It's so responsive, and the characters feel so good. They have a good weight to them. It's just, man, I could go and go about this game. I know.
I love the elephant. I love like how the elephant feels too. Like it feels heavy.
The power-ups are good.
It's so good. I'm like, yes. Oh man, so good.
I'm all about this game.
Yeah, it's and it's. I'll give it that. It is a good game. But as I kind of I hinted to you before the show, Adrian, I more and more am realizing that with platformers, maybe not just Mario games, but platformers in general, they might just not be my kind of game. And I want to be very like clear. I'm not saying this is a bad game or I don't like it.
I know you don't think it's bad.
It is a great game and I do like it, but I will tell you, I like got through the first like world and a half and I'm already like, okay, I'm good. I've had my fill, which is, it was more just an interesting realization for me because I don't know, like every time a new Mario comes out or any platformer, like a lot of times, like I do get hyped. I get super stoked for the next new thing. I mean, especially Mario. It's like, oh man, it's Mario. It's got to be amazing. It's gonna be so good. And then it's happened to me with the last few Mario games where it's just like, yeah, it comes out and then I'm like, oh, all right, and I just kind of move on. And the same thing happened with this one, and I was like, oh shoot, like and again, I'm not like not liking it, but I'm also feeling like, all right, I've had my fill. I'm kind of tired of it, but not necessarily tired. It's not, because tired makes it sound negative, but it's more just like I'm full. Yeah. I've had a good meal and I'm full, and I can come back. I can come back in a couple weeks and, you know, have some more of that. But with all that to say, like, again, like I'm loving it. This game is fantastic. And to get back to positive things, I love the Wonder Seeds so much.
Yes, they're so good.
I love how you can play a level normally from start to finish, you know, start and then get all the way to the flag at the end, grab the flag, you're good to go. And there's lots of collectibles and stuff in between. But inside every level, I think pretty much every level, there's a Wonder Seed that you can find. It's usually hidden. I think there's at the beginning of the first few levels, they're kind of out in the open, but as it goes on, they start hiding them in places. And it basically, like, Mario takes a tab of acid and suddenly the whole level. I saw this meme on Twitter. It's hilarious. It's like Super Mario Wonder be like, and it showed the picture from the D&D movie where the bard, what's the actor's name who he was from Star Trek or whatever. Chris Pine. Yeah, where like in the I don't know if you watched the D&D movie, but at one point he's casting minor illusion or whatever, and the illusion kind of starts wearing off, and his face starts like deforming and stuff like that. It's like Super Mario Wonder when you get the Wonder Seed be like, and it showed a picture of like this, Chris Pine with his face all like distorted. I mean, it's pretty accurate. And it's so true. Like the whole level, and it does. The whole level like kind of melts away, and then like a new backdrop comes in, and like new enemy or whatever happens, the music changes. Oh my gosh. And every time it's just a joy to see, all right, yes, what's happening this time? What are we getting into this time, dude? What's about to happen? Because yeah, sometimes it's acid starts rising from the ground. Sometimes it's a stampede. Sometimes it's like, you just don't know. Like it could literally be anything. Like you could name 100 things and I could probably be like, yeah, that happens. That happened at least once. That happened at least once.
There was one that happened to me today. I was playing earlier today, and I would say maybe like 60 to 70% of the time, I just have the stupidest grin on my face while they happen. The whole time the Wonder Seed sections happen. I mean, the levels on their own are great, but like the Wonder Seeds just take them over the top.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, the original levels are fantastic, but then like you throw the Wonder Seed on top of it, and I'm like, heck yeah, like a whole remixed level. I'm all about that.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this game. I don't know why this isn't a numbered Super Mario Brothers game. This feels like it should be in the main line as far as the series goes, but they had other plans. I would have for sure called this Mario Brothers 5. You can do Mario Brothers 5 : Wonder or whatever. I don't know how you would have, but yeah, it absolutely, they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
I am trying to find things about it that I don't like, and so far I'm coming up empty.
Yeah, I mean, and even for me, like the only thing I don't like is my own problem. You know, it's just me being like, oh, I'm just had my fill of platformers for the time being. But is a very good game. It is so good. And the music's so good. The sound effects are good. The little flowers are so good. Like, just like the little, like,
people are like, some people are online like, oh my God, I can't stand the flowers. I wish they shut up. I'm like, so you hate fun, huh? Is that what you're saying? You hate
great.
fun?
There's some little one-liners and stuff they do. Like, oh, it's so good. I love it.
It's a little charm. It adds a little charm to it. Like, I don't know, just. Especially when they cheer you on, I'm like, you know what, Flower, I needed that because this level was a little hard. I appreciate you looking out for me, you know?
There was one level where you get all the way to the end and like the flag is right there. Like I go through a pipe and pop up and boom, the flag's there. So it's like very obvious where I need to go. But I could tell like, oh, if I jump here and here, I can go backwards and up over the wall. And there's probably something hidden back there. And there's like a little flower sitting there. And so like I jumped over and he was like, see ya. And then I jumped back. He's like, wait, where are you going? Like, what are you doing? Like, he's like asking me like, whoa, hey, what are you doing, buddy? And it's like, I just like, and sure enough, there's like a little area with like some coins and stuff there. But it's like so funny. Just like that comment, like it's like the AI is smart enough to be like, all right, see you, when I was going the right way, like, see ya, have fun. And then like when I started coming back, he's like, wait, where are you going? What are you doing? Like so confused.
I had one that came on
so
a level.
Good.
It was like under the level, so you couldn't see like in a pit, and it popped up, and it was I can't remember what it said. And it was like, it's me. And then it went down, and then I went backwards and came back, and it popped up, and it said, it's me, the sequel. I was like, oh my God, that was good. I freaking love them. I don't care.
So much.
Keep them on.
Yeah, so much thought and care put into like this whole game. It's so good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Unfortunately, though, as good as it is, I think it's too late for it to be taken seriously in the Game of the Year race. I definitely think it deserves to be in that discussion, but I think it's just not enough people are going to play it in time. And I do think that people think of 2D games as lesser, so it won't be able to stand in the same conversation as Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate. But yeah. I certainly think it's in that same caliber as far as quality is concerned. I just realistically know that it won't be viewed in the same regard that it should be.
Right.
Which to me, it stands shoulder to shoulder to those games as far as quality is concerned.
Totally. Yeah, and I mean, I don't even think it has anything to do with like timeline. I think you hit it when you said, as far as like a 2D side scroller, like people just automatically assume like, oh, that's just like it'll win best family game, you know, and maybe
like,
best platformer.
No, it's a fantastic game.
But
period.
Like if it was a 3D Mario game, like it would be up for as a contender. Right. But for whatever reason, the 2D side scroller, they're just like, oh, nah, like that doesn't deserve it. But I don't know. Yeah, this game definitely should be in that conversation because it is very good. But it doesn't matter because Armored Core 6 is taking it all anyway. So
you keep dreaming.
Keep
hope alive.
Good. Man, can you believe it? In just like an hour and a half, I'm gonna be able to play Metal Gear Solid on my Steam Deck. I just thought of that. That just hit me.
You have fun. I'm gonna still be knee deep in Mario Wonder. The actual, game that, or if you had said Spider-Man, I'd be like, you know what? Makes sense. They both came out the same day. You got something to play. Metal Gear again.
Yes. So good.
It doesn't make sense for me to buy this one. I have the collection on PS3 and it runs better than I wanted to get it on Switch, but it's awful on Switch apparently.
Yeah, the only reason I'm getting it is because for the portability, I got it on my Steam Deck. Like I'm just stoked to be able to play it on my Steam Deck with Steam, then I can play it on my computer as well. Like access to it in 2 places for the price of 1 on the go. Or
I have them on Vita too, and they run really good on Vita actually. So
there you go.
It doesn't really make sense for me to
I don't. I mean, I guess I could emulate them on. Oh, I do. That's the thing. Like they could be emulated on the Steam Deck, but which, depending on who you talk to. The Metal Gear Solid, the first one, I guess, is not looking too hot in the collection. There's a few videos I watch where they're like,
board. There's
a few, not so they're saying 2 and 3 look good, but there's quite a few videos I watch where they're like Metal Gear Solid, like the first one showing like side by side with like, here's the master collection and here's like emulated on DuckStation with like hacks enabled. And it's just like,
how do you
crazy.
cheap out
like,
on this? It's
it
one
like
of your
looks,
biggest IPs. How do you cheap out on Metal Gear?
I don't know. Apparently Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 look great because basically all they did was just port the HD collection, made a couple fixes, and then made it 1080p because the HD collection was only 720. So 2 and 3 are fine, I guess. They're great. Everyone loves them. But like, yeah, the original one.
2 and 3 were 4K on PC.
It's not 4K anywhere. There's no 4K. It's only 1080p everywhere.
Well, what was the point? Wasn't this the big deal about it being on PC? Everybody has those 3080, 4080s now. Those shit should be able to run 4K.
Oh, it should. This is completely a Konami just limiting things for no reason.
Why do
it's
it?
It's Konami being
so
Konami.
cheaply?
This is what this is what the Konami's always like. Like, this isn't new.
I know. It's just, man, it's I don't know. This almost feels like it's a dig at Kojima. Like, oh yeah, we'll put your game back out. We'll We'll give whoever ports it a ham sandwich to do it. And that's what you get.
Oh man. Well, that's all I got for the show. Thank you guys all so much for listening and watching. We appreciate each and every one of you who watches our stuff, who shares our stuff. Actually, if you wouldn't mind, if you're watching over on YouTube, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. It's free to subscribe. You can see when future videos come out. And then if you're on podcast, shoot that link to a friend. Be like, hey, check out this sick podcast you listen to on the way to your work in the morning or on the way home from work in the afternoon. Or the opposite if you work graveyard, whatever, you know, it works in every direction. Trust me, I've tried it. If you love what we do and want to help support us, think about going to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1, get episodes early and ad free, all the way up to $15 a month, just depending on what sweet perks you want. So think about checking it out. Even if you don't sign up, just go over there and look at it. You know, just think about it. That's it's, who knows, maybe you'll be like, oh, there is some good value here, which, you know, take my word for it. I think there's some good stuff. If you want to support us and you want something a little more physical, tactile, something you can put on your body, sgbstore.com to get those sweet t-shirts, sweaters. It's getting chilly. Actually, I'm flying to New York tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. It's supposed to be, I think next week's supposed to get down to like the 50s. So I'm taking my Super Gamer Boys crew neck sweatshirt, and I'm stoked to be nice, toasty, warm in that thing. So sgbstore.com to get your hands on one for this fall and winter season. Shout out to DJ Trues again for allowing us to use their music on our show. Remember to show them some love on Apple Music and Spotify. Links will be in the show description. During the week, you can find us at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
Yep, and with that, we have completed yet another episode. So, Adrian, would you mind taking us out?
You got it. Folks, thank you for hanging out with us for another week. I am trying to form sentences to get us out of here because I am ready to play more Mario Wonder. I cannot stop playing it. Actually, I'm starting to get a little sad because I'm a good ways in and I know it's getting ready to be over and I don't want it to be over. You know?
Yeah.
But that aside,
you could always just, have you been 100%ing levels? Because there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like you
that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
you're already doing it. All right.
But aside from that, as always, thank you everybody who watches, who listens, who tells people about our show, about our shows. We've been seeing some pretty insane, feedback and growth on our stuff lately. So that's been very encouraging, and it helps us to continue to do what we are doing here. As does our Patreon and any monetary support that we do receive from you. But even if we don't, you just hanging out and chatting with us and watching our stuff is enough.
Yeah.
So until next time, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
God dang. Mario Wonder is so good, dude. Wahoo!